It was good, YouTube. I mean, this video right here, man, is all about the heavyweight division, man. All about heavyweights. Heavyweights. Now, I want to ask y'all. We all know they call the 70s the golden era of boxing, you know? The 70s and shit. The 80s. But I wanted to, like, I discovered something recently. You know what I mean? Just watching old fights. And I want to, and this video is dedicated to 3 people, man. 3 fucking people. 7, 8 fight news, blood boxing, and Jesus never existed 300, man. I mean, that motherfucker, like, that dude just been annoying me in comment sections lately, man. This dude is just stubborn as hell, man. I mean, he know about boxing, but he's stubborn as fuck, man. You can't drill nothing in that nigga head, man. I mean, that nigga just got this idea about Ali, like Ali just got no fucking flaws, man. But I'm coming off topic anyway. But I wanted to speak about this video, and I want to know if anybody agree with me, disagree with me. In the heavyweight division, for a while I've been saying this now. I never said it in a video, but I feel the best heavyweights. Now, let me not say best heavyweights. I'm talking. Let me rephrase that. The best fighting in the heavyweight division took place in the mid 80s and 90s. I believe the heavyweight division had its best technique displayed, its best you'll see the best physique a heavyweight boxer could possibly have, and just everything else, everything good took place in the heavyweight division at that time. And I wanna confuse it with the legendary golden era, because I know a lot of people love to say that's not the golden era. The golden era is the 70s with Frazier, Foreman, and all of them. And I'm not saying it's not. But watch the fights. I'm talking about the actual fights, the technique shown. The actual technique, the action that's being displayed in the ring. And tell me if the mid 80s, let's just say 85, all the way up to 99, isn't the best heavyweight action you've seen. Let's forget about the fighters for a second. Let's forget, like, we get too caught up on this Rocky bullshit, man. I mean, let's forget about how legendary or how iconic they are for a second. We're just talking about the fights, the action being displayed in the ring, the technique being used. Because I feel the mid 80s to the 90s had the best heavyweight action ever. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know what the fuck happened to that. Know what I mean? Nowadays, heavyweight boxers, this shit is like a joke. These guys, like, just look at a mid 80s heavyweight boxer, a mid 80s, early 90s, or just 90s heavyweight boxer, and compare them to a heavyweight today. A heavyweight today is all out, like 8 times out of 10, he's not even in shape. He's like fat, and you know, some of these guys, some of these heavyweights are not even fucking heavyweights. I don't even know if Chris Arreola is a fucking heavyweight. Every time I see him, he's getting slimmer and slimmer. It just goes to show he has no fucking discipline. He's probably really a middleweight at the end of the day. Just a fat ass middleweight that can't stay in shape. So he just said, fuck it, I'd rather be a heavyweight so I can eat whatever I want. Every time I look at that nigga, he getting skinnier and skinnier. His face his head shape is all changing and shit. I mean, like I'm looking at these fights, man, from the 90s and the 80s, man. These guys was fucking ripped, man. They put the time in, man. They was disciplined, man. They was 200 pounds plus, trimmed and toned. And the technique, the technique shown. Like, a lot of guys love to say, who did Tyson fight? Who did Tyson fight? Who did Tyson fight? When you look at the technique being shown in the ring, those, you could call them bums. It's easy to call a guy a bum because he's not popular. That's just what a bum is nowadays in boxing. A guy that's just not popular. He's not an icon. He didn't influence nobody. People call that guy a bum. Not me. I look at the technique and how the guy comes off in the ring. And I'm not even just talking about Mike Tyson opponents. A lot of guys in the mid-80s and 90s were good fucking fighters, man. Like, just compare them to guys of the 70s. You'll see a whole different attitude, man. Now, if I'm lying, I'm flying. Let's compare this. Isn't Big George better than the George Foreman of the 70s? Skill and technique wise. I know this sounds absurd to some people because they think of a fat old man, but it's true. Like, watch him fight. Just watch him fight, man. And watch the guys he was fighting. You know, these guys was doing all types of shit, like getting to Foreman's chin. Foreman had to eat those punches, man. He never took so much fucking punches when he was that young. When he was younger. Cause he came back to boxing in a different ball game, and he still was successful. He still was successful. He fought through like 3 different fucking eras. He almost went into the millennium. He looked like he could have made it to 2000. Cause I watched his last fight with Shannon Briggs just the other day. I watched that fight over, and he looked like he could have rocked out for 3 more years. Easy. You know, these heavyweights nowadays, this shit is like a fucking joke. This shit is like a joke, man. These guys, like 60% of them are not even real heavyweights, because if they cut off all the fat off their body, they're way below 200 pounds. Way below. You know what I mean? Like, these dudes are like really 168 pounds. Just fat 168 pounders posing as heavyweights. That's why Klitschko's be beating the shit out of these dudes, man. That's why, man. You know, like, these guys are not real heavyweights, man. The heavyweight division is just fucking dead. That shit is dead. That shit is dead. These guys are displaying no technique. I'm watching Fight Night yesterday. These 2 guys, I won't ever get them the honor to say their name. I'm glad I don't remember their fucking names either. They just standing in front of each other, gun shy as hell. They don't have no technique to impose their will on each other. They're just hoping and waiting a big old opportunity to throw to land something big comes. You wasn't seeing that shit in the 90s, in the mid 80s and 90s. You wasn't seeing that shit. That's why you gotta respect. That's why, like, you gotta respect Lennox Lewis and the Mike Tysons and the Holyfields and who else was rocking in that era, man? The Michael Moores. You could throw Tommy Morrison. 7-8 and Blood did a video about Tommy Morrison the other day. You gotta respect those cats, because that was a hard time to be the top dog in the heavyweight division, man. That was a hard fucking time. There was a lot of technique. Guys was way more disciplined. Like, how many fat guys like this? If you don't take my word, just go back and watch. You know what I mean? Just go back and watch. How many fat guys was there in the heavyweight division? These fat old guys. These guys just fucking out of shape. These guys that have no technique. There wasn't too much of them. Everybody brought something to the table. Everybody, even the guys that if you want to call them a bum. those same guys that you want to call them a bum, they would dominate today. They would dominate today. You know, they will fucking dominate. 7-8 Fight News and Tommy and Blood was talking about Ty Morrison the other day, and they was talking about when he fought Razor Ruddock and shit. Come on. I don't see nobody that could beat Razor Ruddock right now in boxing, in the heavyweight division. Nobody. These guys just want to stand in front of each other. They have no technique. They don't not use no technique, man. In the mid 80s and 90s, these guys would jab their way in, and they gotta say fuck it. If I gotta leap in with a left, if I gotta leap in with a hook to get inside, fuck it. It's either it's gonna hit him or it's not. And if it don't hit him, I'll be close enough to land other shit on him. These guys are just gun shy as hell. Klitschko couldn't make it in the 80s and 90s, man. They couldn't fucking make it, man. I don't care what nobody say. That's why those guys will never get their respect, man. I mean, you gotta give them respect for what they're doing. You know, they're winning their fights. If you want to call it dominating, all right, whatever. But I could clear, you know, a lot of guys like to throw that out there. Oh, this guy couldn't manage in that time. He couldn't manage in that time. But I have numbers. It's not just hearsay. The numbers and the stats show. Klitschko's, they would not last from 85 to 99 without a couple knockout losses. I could think of so many dudes that will ice them niggas. Now I mean, them dudes will be leaving the ring on their back or on their face. They won't leave the ring on their feet. So many dudes that will ice them. These fucking out of shape, gun shy heavyweights, man. I be hating this shit, man. I mean, this shit make boxing mad corny. Like I'm starting to get tired of little boxing. It's like we forgot. It's like we forgetting a heavyweight division exists. You know, if you see a Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather on the street, niggas is little. I mean, yeah, they could fight and all that, but to the eye, them dudes is little. They little men. They like 5'6", 5'7", 5'8". I mean, them niggas ain't intimidating nobody. What happened to that big 200-pound plus nigga that you know will beat the shit out of you? Like, you don't ever wanna step on that nigga's shoes. The way that nigga will hit you so hard, your mother will feel that shit. Come on, man. This box. I just want some good fucking heavyweights to come back, man. I mean, I want some good heavyweights to come back. I want to see a pay-per-view fight, heavyweight, of two dudes that has technique, that's in shape, and come to fight, man. I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. For real. I don't know what's going on. None of these guys, no, there's not one heavyweight right now that resemble a fighter of the 80s to the 90s. And usually the sport evolves to more stiffer competition. I can't say that about the heavyweight division. I could say that about every other division. I mean, there's a whole lot of fighters of the 70s, 80s who were welterweights that I could think of like a welterweight that could beat them in today's era. But I can't say that about the heavyweights, man. The competition it took a demotion. It went downhill. It didn't get better. These motherfuckers out of shape like a motherfucker, man. These dudes are not real heavyweights to begin with. I think that's why they fight like that. I think that's why they be so gun shy half the time, man. Cause they not real heavyweights. They real light heavyweights and real super middleweights with a whole bunch of fat on their body. That just puts them over the scale of 200 pounds. That's what it is. I mean, I just want the heavyweight division to come back. I mean, if the heavyweight division was back, this whole fiasco with this Mayweather Pacquiao shit, this shit wouldn't be holding boxing hostage like that. Cause niggas would have alternatives. It would be a whole bunch of alternatives that we could tune into. Like, alright, man, these niggas having such a hard time fighting. Fuck it, let's watch that. Let's watch those two fight. Know what I mean? fuck. The knockouts is nowhere near as gruesome. Nowhere near as gruesome as an 80s, 90s knockout. These heavyweight knockouts, they so fucking PG-13 now. As soon as these niggas get on the ropes, the ref is just jumping in. This shit is fucking gay. Gay. You know what I mean? I'm fucking watching old fights the other day. I was watching that Ray Mercer fucking, what's the nigga name? I just said his name, man. Damn. Morrison. I was just watching that fight. Yo, that shit was assault in the ring. And I don't mean with no plastic gloves like Margarito. If you never seen that knockout, YouTube it. That shit has to be on YouTube. Mercer versus Tommy Morrison. The ref did. I was like, that ref was supposed to stop that shit. That's how gruesome that shit was. I mean, like, that shit looked like it could have killed Tommy Morrison. Like, Morrison could have lost his fucking life right there, man. That dude was just on the ropes with his hands down, eating haymakers to his face. To his fucking face. Just haymaker after haymaker after haymaker. I think he got hit the whole bullshit like 6 times. Clean. No defense because he was out cold on his feet. I'm not talking about that shit with Pernell Whitaker and I forgot the dude's name, and you know Pernell Whitaker was losing that fight, and then Pernell Whitaker caught him in the corner and he just giving him all those left hands. That shit has nothing on what I'm talking about. This is heavyweights I'm talking about. That dude beat the shit out of Morrison. You know what I mean? I just want shit like that to, I mean, I'm not saying that type of violence, but I'm just stuff of that nature, man. I just want good heavyweight competition to come back into play, man. For real. For real, man. You know what I mean? I just want to bring that to the light, man. You know, if anybody doubt that, do your research. Put your compilation of footage together and do your comparison, and you will see that the best heavyweight competition, the most stiffest competition, the most technique displayed, the most in shape boxers, all were participating in the mid 80s and 90s. I wouldn't say 70s and 60s because a lot of them motherfuckers wasn't like real heavyweights. It was kind of small. A lot of them was small. A lot of them wasn't like really 200 pounds and shit like that. The best heavyweights and the stiffest heavyweight competition was 85 and 90s. I kid you not. Know what I mean? Boxing will be back on top of that time if that era was to come back. I mean, blood is older. Blood know what the fuck I'm talking about, man. I mean, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 98, 99. That was heavyweight at its best. Most entertaining, most a whole bunch of controversial shit going on, a whole bunch of drama too. You know, a whole bunch of characters. Niggas like Mike Tyson, niggas like Riddick Bowe. You know, it was entertaining, yo. And the fights was entertaining, and the technique displayed was something to marvel over. I don't know what the fuck is this. Bunch of out of shape motherfuckers acting like they heavyweights, but all they gotta do is discipline themselves, and they probably would dominate the light heavyweight and middleweight division. But they got no discipline. You know what I mean? I'm gonna wrap it up right here though, man. Shit look like it's about to rain too, damn. Alright, y'all. Mahalo.